This is a Darius Pokemon Deck Tech. Cue the explosions.
Last night, while completely sleep deprived, I made a really bad Talonflame Aerodactyl deck. It was time to throw that junk away like yesterday's trash. After considering it was 4 o'clock in the morning, I had nothing better to do. I'd take it for a test drive. There's really not a lot going on in this deck, but there's actually a lot going on. It's a very strange deck. I love it. First of all, you'll notice no Shamans are being ran in this deck, so that makes it a lot cheaper to play. 4 Aerodactyls is the engine of the deck. Jet Draft 120 to punch is insane, especially when it's usually only 1 double colorless energy. You have 4 Talonflames. You hope to start with this because it has no retreat cost, and usually by the first, at worst, second turn, you're set up with an Aerodactyl ready to go with a DCE on it. And of course, if you don't have that, you can always Aero Blitz to set up what you need. You can search for the old Amber Aerodactyls, the DCEs, even N, anything you need. We all know how insane Talonflame is, so it's a core of this deck as well. The basic Pokemon I decided to go with was Lugia, because even if you get stuck with it on turn 1, Aero Ball is still a great ability, and Deep Hurricane can hit for a lot. And we do run our own stadiums in here, so I think it was the best choice for one of basic Pokemon. And if you don't play him turn 1, he's great just to keep collecting energy, because Aero Ball does 20 times the amount of energy to both active Pokemon. Considering you only need 2 for Jet Draft, a lot of the time you never even put any energy on Talonflame, you'll have a lot of spare energy for Lugia to come in and just punch for a ton of damage as a good backup plan. Now I decided to go with a lot of energy disruption in this deck simply because this deck has a lot of free slots. You can change a lot of this as you want, but I found that things like Crushing Hammer and Enhance Hammer are great. They are great cards because not only are you running 8 total hammers, but Aerodactyl's ability also discards special energy. So the whole time you're going to be getting rid of your opponent's energy. Now that's not really that good when it comes to things like the Greninja deck, because they don't really need a lot of energy, so you have a lot of dead cards. But that's also why I did things like 4 Pokemon Catchers and 3 Lysandres. Another thing I'm doing is after I set up with Aerodactyl, I'm basically having fun by discarding their energies and then switching their Pokemon around. While Greninja's trying to set up, it's pretty easy to switch out one of the things they have on their bench and just knock it out for a quick prize. So, the other things in here, let's take a look. The other engine, obviously Fossil Excavation Kits, so we can get back our old Amber Aerodactyls in case we miss. 4 old Amber Aerodactyls, pretty self-explanatory. It's the only way to get Aerodactyl on the deck. Maintenance is an amazing card in this deck. You have to shuffle 2 cards from your hand into your deck and then draw a card. So you're basically getting rid of 3 cards, the 2 you shuffle and Maintenance for only 1 card. However, Talonflame is a dead card unless you play it on your first turn, or as you're setting up before your first turn. So you have nothing else to do with it except for discard it. And you don't want Aerodactyls in your hand, so Maintenance is a great way to get Aerodactyls out of your hand, and even the Talonflames or dead cards back into your deck to draw a replacement card. Moving on from there, for Trainer's Mail, pretty self-explanatory. We really need to hit a lot of trainers here. We are very, very trainer heavy, as you can see. And then 4 Ns for the shuffle effect, and 4 Professor Birch's observations. There's no Professor Sycamore's because the last thing we want to do is discard our hand. We need our Aerodactyls to get back into our deck. Usually by turn 3 or turn 4 at the worst, we have 4 Aerodactyls on the board, and they all have a DCE on them. This deck ramps up very fast. Now, it does run 3 Scorched Earth. Again, we need draw power every now and then, and we don't need much, because we have to set up our combination really quickly, and we don't need many energies, but it still runs 7 fighting energies. The reason for that is, 1, it is good to put on Lugia if we have to. If we can't get a DCE, we can still Aero Blitz with 1 of them, and even putting 2 on Aerodactyl in a pinch is not terrible, but the main thing is to discard it, to draw 2 cards every turn, to help us set up the combo, because sometimes Aerodactyl, you just can't find it. Old Amber Aerodactyl looks at the bottom 7 of your deck. I've whiffed maybe 4 or 5 times in a row before until I actually hit an Aerodactyl. Without hitting an Aerodactyl, we're completely relying on Lugia to carry us through. And that is not your best plan. You need to get Aerodactyls out. So that is the entire deck right there. Now, it does look kind of weak, and I thought it was going to be terrible, but it's so fun because you set up very quickly. Aerodactyl is so hard to deal with. If it's on your first turn, you're going first. If you Pokemon Catcher Lysandre out and you're punching for 120, I mean, there goes their Shaymins. Instant kill their Shaymins, you get 2 prize cards. It disrupts them very easily, and as you're switching up their Pokemon, you're also discarding all of their other energies, and right now in Standard, a lot of it is very high hit point Pokemon that also require a lot of energy. So as they're on their bench attempting to add a bunch of energy to it, not only can you have 7 chances to bring them up front and disrupt their plan, you also have 8 potential chances to disrupt them while it's on the bench. So that is a lot. You have 15 cards in your deck just to mess with their bench, and 4 Trainer's Mails helps you pluck them. Now, Lysandre is a supporter card, so you're going to play 1 a turn. It doesn't really matter. Oftentimes, N and Professor Birch's Observation just sit in my hand. After, honestly, maybe the 3rd or 4th turn, I don't feel I need to even play them at all because I'm completely set up and the engine is going. Now let's talk about how much this deck would cost you physically. I'm going to take the prices from TCG Player low. You can get the cards probably cheaper on eBay, especially if you buy them in 4-packs, but this is just a rough idea of what you're looking at. Now I'm not going to look for things like full art ends. We're just going to take the cheapest ends, like the ones that came out of Keldeo versus Rayquaza, and talk about some of it. First of all, this all adds up to $6.55 if you had none of these cards. Most of that price, I mean, full art ends, you're looking at $8 for a playset of them. Talonflames, $20 for a playset. Trainer's Mails, $16. Now, if you wanted to cut out even more of this cost and get this down, you get it down to about $40 or less. You can take out the 4 Trainer's Mails. You don't absolutely need them in this deck. It just helps make them faster. So you can now go ahead and knock $16 off the price right there. You might even be able to do less Talonflames. You can, if you really want to, you could run like 2 Talonflames, take out the Trainer's Mails, and hope you win the coin flip to go first. So when your opponent draws like 15 cards because you keep shuffling, you play an N right away and they go back down to 6 cards. So you can shave some cost. I wouldn't advise shaving too much. So if you're interested in seeing this as a gameplay that will be uploaded to the channel either soon or in the link below, there is a link to the gameplay video. Now, I'm not saying that this deck is a standard tier 1, oh my god, you're gonna go in tournaments decks, but it's a nice cheap deck that is actually really good. And it costs $63.55 for you to buy it, the whole thing. That's cheaper than 1 non-full art Shaymin. You can have an entire fun, very good deck for less than the price of 1 Shaymin. That's why I love this deck. It's just really fun. So go check out the gameplay video of the deck where I will run through a match and talk to you about it, see how it plays. I'm not saying this deck's for everyone, but it's a cheaper alternative if you want to have a competitive deck that is really fun and will not cost you an arm and a leg.